Well, hello, this is Steve Clark of the Scottish Sun.
Hold on, I'm Steve Clark from the Scottish Sun.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
One of us must be.
Somebody must be Steve Clark. It might not be Ewan Murray of the Guardian who got things wrong last night, but listen, Scotland didn't. Bill, we were thrilled with the performance last night. We were a little bit concerned about how things might go against the Swiss in Cologne. As you can see behind us, we're on a train heading back to Garmisch-Partenkirchen to get back to the Scotland camp. But listen, the team were great last night. We got the performance we wanted. We weren't sure we would get it, but absolutely brilliant.
We got a lot of courage last night out there, and a lot of boys who faced their own fears and all the stuff we'd talked about during the week, and can they lift themselves up from where they were. And some people say, well, it's only a 1-1 draw with Switzerland, but I thought the guts it took to get on the front foot and get the performance we did, I thought said a lot about the spirit of those boys. It
was night and day, wasn't it, from the game against Germany. We spoke at length about that last week and how bad it was. You just tell from the players. The warm-up, I get the impression from the warm-up, and I tell you what, I wrote about it in this morning's paper. The fans were absolutely phenomenal. The roar that went up in the stadium when the team came out for the warm-up was phenomenal, and then the anthem was just so rousing. It made a big difference, I thought.
That's one of the best atmospheres at a Scotland game I've been at in a long time. We must have had 22,000 in the stadium, and just start to finish, you're right, in the warm-up when the players came out at 8:15, it was just noise. I wrote in my stuff this morning that it almost blew the players back up the tunnel. It was so loud.
Yeah. And listen, as you say, a 1-1 draw, it could have been worse, it could have been better, but we would have taken that all day long. They just to keep it going, as I say, there's been so much positivity this morning. We're on this train, as you can see, maybe people, well, you can't see people behind us, but there's people right behind the camera here, and it's real excitement now because it goes into a cup final for the last game of the group stage, and Scotland have got a real chance.
Yeah, we have. Cup final is exactly the phrase. Hungary on Sunday in Stuttgart is going to be amazing. Can you imagine the mood on this train this morning on the ICE 515 back towards Munich? And imagine the mood if we had lost last night. And we were talking about what we'd be talking about on this had we lost last night would be a post-mortem, almost certainly out, not definitely out, but it would have been certainly a last chance saloon. And yet we're coming on here this morning suddenly thinking, oh great, we're going to beat Hungary, we're in the last 16 for the first time ever. Yeah. There's just a different feeling, and I imagine the players are going to wake up this morning feeling so different from where they were on Saturday morning last week.
Yeah. I thought Billy Gilmour was exceptional last night. We spoke about him last week and how we were surprised. I was certainly surprised he didn't start against the Germans. In the grand scheme, it probably wouldn't have made a whole lot of difference given him so many players off it, but Billy was terrific, wasn't he? Getting the ball, demanding the ball, and for the first goal, it was his touch. I don't think it was anybody else in the Scotland jersey that would have played that touch to set Andy Robertson headed down the left, and it was a great goal.
Andy Robertson heads the ball at the fence, and Billy just sees it, cushions it right into Andy's path, and he doesn't have to break his stride, and suddenly we're 60-70 yards up the park. And you and I spoke before the games. You said to me about 10 minutes before kick-off, we just need a moment. We need a moment that kicks this tournament into life, and that goal was the moment. Andy had talked about the night before the game, remembering what we were good at, getting back to what brought us to the finals, and that move and that goal was exactly what got us here. It was drive, players running outside each other, guys making overlapping runs, Big Scott got into the box late, and okay, we got a little touch off the defender, but that was exactly what we were meant to be about.
Yeah, and Billy Gilmour, I mean, he's got to be the first name in the team sheet, I think, for the next game. I know he gets substituted late on probably because he was tired. It was interesting though, Steve Clark spoke before the game and how he said he was always planning to play him in the second game. You know, he maybe had a different plan with Ryan Christie against the Germans, but you got to hand it to me when he came in, and he was just class, I thought. And Callum McGregor as well, by the way. Callum McGregor was outstanding. They dovetail, don't they? They're so good together.
There was a moment in the first half where Big Scott was kind of pushed into a corner and towards our byline, and he plays a fairly dangerous ball across the box, and you're thinking, where are we going here? And suddenly between McGregor and Gilmour have just gone ping, 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 the ball's out to Andy Robertson and we're free, and that's the difference that we couldn't do against Germany.
Some big moments for Angus Gunn as well, you know. He made a save that he didn't actually get much credit for because the referee missed it and we got a goal kick, and that was a moment that Kieran Tierney got injured. We'll come to him in a minute, but it was good to see Gunn. It was big saves for him. He was under a little bit of pressure, I thought, given the goals that he conceded. I thought two of them against Germany could have done better with. So it was good for him. Good for him to play so well in a big match.
He spoke well last night in the mixed zone downstairs in the stadium about what a hard week it had been for him and how much soul searching it had been. And he actually talked about that. He said, I made the save and I'm never going to get any credit for it because the boy's right through on goal. Kieran Tierney goes down with his hamstring pulled, but certainly looks like his hamstring pulled. And Angus Gunn gets a save and the striker is screaming at the referee for a corner. But meanwhile the referee's waving on the stretcher bearers and Angus is, we don't want a corner for Switzerland, but I always think in that moment the goalkeeper's almost saying, I touched it, I did it, it was me.
It's we touched on it there, the Kieran Tierney injury. That was the one real blow I felt, and he did brilliantly to get back and make a challenge in that moment. That's a big loss for us, isn't it? Because he's been such an important player for Scotland. He's obviously had his injuries, and that's the thing. It's just another setback for the boy. I wrote my stuff this morning. If he didn't have any bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all. You know, it's just really feel for him.
Do you know, he seems to have this constant problem with either his hamstrings or his groins, and it's something he's going to have to manage and deal with. But for it to happen at that moment was terrible. Now, the interesting thing is that our kind of back five system is based round him. It's to give it was a way of accommodating Kieran Tierney and Andy Robertson in the same team. And without Kieran, I wonder, I don't think he will. But some managers might say, well, should I change my system? Should I go on a game where we need to go in the front foot? Do we go back four, which then gives us a chance to bring in an extra sort of forward-thinking player? I don't know if we will. Do you?
I'm not so sure, to be honest with you. I think the system, the back three, back five, however you want to look at it, kind of works pretty well. I take your point, I see your meaning, but listen, I thought Scott McKenna came in and did really well when he came on.
Very well.
I thought he was a real influence. He won as a corner at one point, I remember. And defensively, he was solid, you know. So I don't have any problems with the big Scott coming into the side. He obviously came in. He came on in the Germany game and helped set up, kind of contributed to the goal. So I don't know. I think we might stick with the back three. I think it kind of suits some of the players in that kind of box midfield. I think that box midfield suits us really well, you know. So it'll be interesting. That's what Steve Clarke's going to have to think about in the next couple of days. But we've not got long, you know. It's Sunday night for the third game, and interestingly, one of the things he did say last night, we were going to dip into the river at Garmisch. I'm not sure I fancy that glacier isn't far away. We saw it the other day.
Do you know, as soon as our gaffer saw that last night, I don't think we're going to get a choice. About 2 minutes after, I was down in the mix zone waiting for the players. Steve Clarke was in the press conference room where Robert was, and he said his thing about we're going to put the players in the river for 2 days to get the tiredness out of their legs. And within about 30 seconds I got a phone call from our head of sport, Roger Hanna, saying, "Did you bring your trunks, wee man?"
But funnily enough, I get the had the same conversation with Roger Hanna, and I told him I think you wanted to direct this to Bill Leckie. So I think you're better with the buggy.
Well, I've got a spare pair of budgie smugglers, mate, if you want.
No, you're perfect. I'm not sure they'll fit me, wee man. But we're all delighted here, aren't we? But it could have been worse, it could have been better. But we've kept it alive. Scotland have kept it alive, and I think they deserve so much credit for that. We gave them a bit of stick after that first game. I think rightly so.
Rightly, and I think they knew. They knew it was coming.
But there was a response, and I was talking to some Scotland fans last night, and that's all they wanted. They wanted a response. They wanted the team to compete, and they did. You know, whatever happened, even if we lost that game last night, if the late chance that they had, which was a real one, I thought it was in. If they'd scored that, it would have been devastating. But the boys at least turned up.
But having said that, Grant Hanley dives in for that header. I mean, he could have had a hat-trick in the Gibraltar game the other week, and he came up and he did exactly the same. He hurled himself at the delivery, and it's hit the post, and we just couldn't scramble the rebound in. So you're right. We could have won it. We could have lost it. In the end, I think both us and Switzerland would have taken the draw. And so now here we are this morning on what's now officially the fastest moving podcast in the business, because we're going about 120 mile an hour through the German countryside. We have our little apple cakes with us here.
It's not exactly the kind of tiramisu or the chocolate cakes we've had for the last couple of weeks, but we'll take what we can get.
At least we've got happiness in our hearts this morning. If we don't have massive chocolate cakes in our tummies.
Because we've had some great feedback about the podcast as well, which is great to hear. We had a well-known football commentator, Scottish football co-commentator last night, telling us he's enjoying the podcast, so that was good to hear. So as I say, we've got a long journey ahead of us, getting back to Garmisch. And real positivity, Phil. We're kind of looking forward to the next couple of days, because otherwise I think it would have been dreadful when we lost last night.
Well,
I certainly wasn't looking forward to going to the Scotland camp for the next few days, had that been the case, but we're looking forward to it today.
So we're straight back when we get off the train in Garmisch, straight into the ice rink next to the train station to talk to someone from the Scotland squad. I'm not quite sure who yet, but that conversation today off the back of the defeat would have been fairly grim, wouldn't it?
Yeah, very much so. But listen, we're on our way and we're still in the competition, we're still in the tournament, and we've got a right good chance of getting to the knockout stages for the first time ever. And I think if the boys can produce some kind of performance similar to last night, they'll give themselves a real chance. We're on our way, we'll leave you now. We're going to fire into these cakes for what's left of it, and it's just left from me, Steve Clark,
and from me, Steve Clark,
and I'll catch you tomorrow.